Hello, I'm Vanessa Zamora. I'm here with Krista Neher, CEO at Bootcamp Digital. So let's talk about your book.
So the book's called Social Media Field Guide, and really what it focuses on is how to strategically build a social media plan for your business. So over the past 5 years that I've been in social media marketing, one of the things that I've noticed is that one of the biggest reasons that most businesses fail is that they fail to plan. And so because social media is so easy to get started in, somebody tells them they should make a Facebook page or they hear about Twitter. And a lot of businesses get started in these things, but they never really sat down and thought through what they're really trying to get out of it. So their content plan sort of lacks a strategic approach. And as a result, they actually aren't achieving what they would like to through their social media assets. So the idea of the Social Media Field Guide is to provide a step-by-step system for businesses to build a plan strategically. So it starts with listening, looking at your marketing objectives, identifying your target audience, figuring out your conversion strategy, and then from there, building out the content plan, looking at the right tools, and really understanding the full breadth of the social media landscape, implementing, and then measuring and adjusting so that you're consistently improving and being successful.
What are some of the end goals or objectives of social media?
That's the thing. The goals can vary really dramatically depending on the type of business that you're talking to. But an example of a client that I've been working with recently is a dentist in my local area came to me and said, I have a Facebook page, but it's not getting results. And I said, well, what are the results that you want? And two, what are you doing right now? And he said, oh, well, we just post like interesting stuff about, dentistry and teeth. And some people respond, so they get some interactions, but they're not getting new patients. And I said, well, if you had started with, my goal is to get new patients, and you went through sort of the strategic approach to planning, you probably wouldn't actually pick Facebook as your first step. Facebook is really good at driving word of mouth referrals, but most people who've never heard of you are not going to fan your page, right? So he may have made some different choices about where to start. But even if Facebook was a strategic choice, he would have had a really different content plan. The content plan would have included requesting referrals, providing incentives for referrals, encouraging his fans to talk about some of their dental problems so that other people would see it and be interested in him. So really the key is to identify what you want at the beginning and then build your whole plan around that. The real key though is thinking about what is it that your audience is really interested in, because usually it's not your business. It's something else, and give them content that's naturally social and interesting but related to your business.
What do you see on the horizon for social media?
I'm glad you asked that. I talked about that I talked about 3 trends in my first presentation yesterday at PubCon. So I'll touch on them all briefly. One of the things that I think is interesting and I think could be potentially pretty big is Twitter advertising. So Twitter's ad platform revenues are projected to double in the next year. And I've seen really cool things done with the Twitter ad platform. You can run an ad on a hashtag, for example. So one of the ideas that I talked about was, imagine at the PubCon conference, if I wanted to promote my business, let's say I was in the exhibit hall, I would do a sponsored ad. So I would pay money for my ad to show up every time someone searches for hashtag PubCon. So then what happens is you're here at the conference, you search hashtag PubCon, and the first Twitter result you see is my business saying, hey, PubCon fans, check out our free special report on 7 ways to do this, right? So you have the ad with a relevant call to action that's information based. So I think clever use of Twitter ads is something we'll see. I think the other big thing is Facebook commerce. Facebook commerce will, no question, I think, become $1 billion business over the next few years. There are already applications that allow you to port your stores and sell directly in Facebook. And, it's important to keep in mind, we always say don't sell on social networks, but buying products is a part of our lives. It's not like, oh, this is my social life, and then I go and buy stuff. It's a part of your life as one kind of unit. So I think there's huge opportunities there. Facebook, I recently read an article that Facebook will be looking at launching sort of like a group buying incentive, similar but different to Groupon. But you could run an ad that says if 10 of your friends all buy this product, you'll all get 20% off. So that could be extremely powerful because then you're linking into the social web. Imagine if that was concerts, right? Then I'm person X and I see that like 6 of my friends just bought tickets to this concert. I'm probably going to go and buy one and pay full price. So I think Facebook commerce is going to be really, really big just because of the amount of time people are spending in the application and some of their improvements. And then the third thing is location and mobile. They're projecting that in 2 years, 40% of internet access will happen through mobile devices. That's crazy. That dramatically changes people's strategies. Geolocation, so Foursquare and Facebook Places are all sort of looking like they're picking up and gathering momentum. Facebook recently announced that their Places deals they're rolling out in other locations across the globe. So that shows they're kind of putting a stake in the ground that this is important and they expect growth there. So that's probably the third thing that's really interesting that I think has a lot of opportunity. Really cool stuff.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for your time, Krista, as always. Sure. Vanessa Zamora here at PubCon Austin 2011.